Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Triggered. I'm your host, Zachary Clark, and you all know my co-host, Adam Furman. And this is the Triggered Show, episode 19. You should go ahead and smash that like button. Maybe tip back a glass of delicious bourbon.
Bourbon? I thought it was apple juice.
Nope, it was these. Oh.
Bless you.
Oh, sorry about that, folks. Well, we got a good show for you tonight. All the shenanigans that have been happening in the world. We had planned on dedicating this episode entirely to Theodore Roosevelt. However, current events struck again. It's not like, we can just turn off the amazing wild ride. I was glued to it for the last 3 days. It was so intense. But we're going to get into it. Because we're coming to you live from the windswept third story of Wall Street office number 3. The windows are all open up here.
Oh, no.
Because they jumped out.
That's what that sign was.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's wild stuff. We'll get into it. But first, as usual, we have something new from the scanner. Scanner Radio. Highway 61 at UU in Pike County, Missouri. A semi struck several cows. Missouri State Highway still en route. I'm like, oh, poor cows. That happened to me one time. I didn't actually hit it, but I was just like driving, and the cows had got out in the pasture next to the road that led back to my house. And it's like they appeared out of the fog as I was driving down the road.
Oh.
It was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, you could die getting hit or hitting a cow.
Yeah, well, and as this poster says, they should have moved. Or, well, holy cow, I hope the driver is okay.
Oh. I don't know. I had a high school classmate who hit a horse with his '05 Mustang. That was...
It's probably not good for the car or the horse.
No, I don't know why you'd be driving out at like 4 a.m. anyways. 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Maybe,
Sometimes you got places to be. You can't wait.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why you drive at 4 a.m. That's what I do. If I've got, errands to run, maybe I'm helping an old woman cross the road. Who else is going to help her at 3 a.m.? Only me. I'm the only one on the road. It's virtuous to be up at 3 a.m. driving through horse pastures.
Yeah, I don't know. His parents bought him a new one. No worries, though.
Oh, well, that seems like a good use of money. Maybe not, though. There wasn't much on the scanner. That was about the only thing that was halfway decent. So, psh.
No, when I saw that, I read it. I read it as cars. I'm like, oh man, another accident, another pile up or something. My brain just filled in the blanks when I saw his C. I just thought it was cars.
Nope, you were wrong. Cows. It was cows.
Yeah. We're having... That's when you could actually eat the roadkill.
Well, some people mention that. I don't know if it'd be good to eat after it gets hit by a semi-truck. Probably not good.
No, depends on what was in the back of that semi.
It was steak sauce. It was just steak sauce.
It was filled with milk.
Worcestershire. It was a tanker truck full of Worcestershire sauce.
Oh my gosh. combined with a tanker, with just a diesel tanker, and just went up in flames.
And roasted it all. Oh, that tastes great. Diesel cooked steer.
Yeah.
Pass. In other local news, not just cow murder, but people are going to the clink for the big insurrection. Dun 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 dun. Quincy couple arrested for storming the U.S. Capitol. And these are the devilish rioters themselves. Oh, dun dun dun, caught in the act. A Quincy couple that was arrested Thursday accused of playing a part in this January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol building, the United States Department of Justice said. Oh, they're coming after him. This isn't legal advice, though I am a lawyer, but if you're going to do crimes, you don't want to post photographs of your crimes on social media. I guess this guy was pushing it up on his Twitter.
Yeah, that's how you get clout. Hey, look at me.
You have to start your Anon account, and it's got like an anime avatar or whatever. And then you use that to say, and then you black out the face. Me in my bay.
Yeah.
Put the boots to the oppressor.
Yeah, or use your own slang or whatever, other than even more cryptic than that.
I don't know, because it's like you're in a community, and so you'll develop your own lingo to talk about stuff.
Yeah, like
diamond hands, paper hands, rocket ship, rocket ship, rocket ship to the moon. But I was actually fairly impressed with this article on the WGEM station. Not only did they have the photograph in question that subjected them to the scrutiny, not only did they have a video portion discussing it, they also included the complaint itself that was filed in federal court. It was like, oh my gosh, this is like real reporting. They have all the information you need to see what happened here. So I was fairly impressed. WGM growing on me as the days pass. But I don't know. I don't know about arresting all these people like that. Because I'm in general not against arresting criminals. Well, you know me. Hang 'em high, Clark.
Jeez. Yeah, there's like if anything over the 3 years, you're like, what's the point?
It's 10, and that's negotiable. But if you're going to send a guy to prison for like 20 years, you might as well just hang him. At that point, you're saying it's bad enough you can spend 20 years in jail.
Yeah, I don't know. I say bring back public shaming.
Well, yeah, then you have the lower level stuff.
Depending on the crime.
Before you start locking people in jail, you have the stocks or... wearing a pink bunny suit, cleaning up trash on the side of the road or whatever.
Wearing pink gloves and stuff.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. It's a way to enforce the societal norms. Maybe. Maybe it's cruel and it's so depraved. And how can we have these people live with the shame of it, Adam?
Yeah, I don't know. Those weird creative punishments I've seen that you have. It's usually like only a couple judges around the country that do that. But like, say I sentence you to blank 1 year or 18 months in prison or something. Or it's like, or you can look like an idiot for 3 hours. What do you want to do?
Well, they still do caning and stuff around the world.
Around the world. Yeah, it's so cruel and unusual. Is it cruel and unusual for here? Because we're so civilized here in the United States.
I don't know what that means.
Much more civilized than the other countries.
I'm not delved too deeply into the cruel and unusual precedent, but what I know about it on my surface level understanding is it's rather absurd. And along those lines of if something goes out of use, then it becomes unusual, and then you can never revert to a thing that used to be perfectly fine. but I don't know. That doesn't seem right. And you ought to be able to stalk people or tar and feather them or whatever. Tar and feathering people was an American tradition back around the founding.
Yeah.
To think that we can't do that
You're not
today.
a patriot. You're not a patriot unless you're not a true patriot unless you've tarred and feathered someone or participated in
No true patriot if you haven't tarred and feathered somebody who deserves to be publicly shamed.
Likely a politician.
Yeah. Or, Wall Street hedge fund operators. You folks may have heard about this, but something's going on in Wall Street this week. GameStop stock was through the roof. Boo! Went from $20 on Monday all the way up to $450. And it was buck wild.
Yeah. They just released some new financials, right? Positive outlook. They got a whiz kid CEO. Gonna turn the company around.
Anyway. We'll get into it a little bit, but all of a sudden this happened and no one knew anything about it. No normies, anyway. And it was putting the squeeze on some big Wall Street hedge funds. And they were going to lose tons of money. And so in the name of volatility in trading, many a broker restricted trading and even prohibited it on their platforms on Thursday. And this is what I pulled. I started getting into it, and I got the Robinhood app. And I managed to navigate myself, even though they had hidden the GameStop page, where it shows the graph and the stock information. You couldn't search it out. At one point, they'd even blocked the browsing page to just scroll information because it would show articles that were linked to the GameStop stock. You could click it and it would take you there, but then it would bring this up and it would say this stock is not supported on Robinhood. It prohibited people who held the stock from buying it and doing other things. The only thing they could do is sell, which would relieve pressure, lower the price, and allow hedge funds some breathing room to cover for what they were doing. This was a big conspiracy. Everybody thought that these guys were doing this. Eventually, they were getting a bunch of blowback, flack. Congress people were saying how they were going to investigate these brokerage firms to see what they were up to and restricting this trading and trying to, manipulate the markets and doing this stuff, maybe doing crimes. And so today they allowed trading on its face, and apparently they restricted it to only being able to buy 5 stocks per account of this particular stock. Several other stocks were affected, maybe. Hard to say. AMC was caught up in the coattails of this, along with BlackBerry, Nokia, Bed Bath & Beyond.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about them.
And I don't know. I couldn't distinguish it from bots trying to pump and dump some other stocks and this, but a lot of the diehards I saw were just saying, forget everything else, sell it all, and put it all into GameStop. Today we'll drive it up. But I did find this handy rundown, which was pretty interesting. Old Hamza Shaban here. He has apparently been following this for some time. Wait, this is the wrong guy. Josh Gross was. This was something else. I'll get to this later. We'll shoot. We'll scooch that guy over one.
All right.
Josh Graves. So many folks, especially the media, are missing the complete backstory on GameStop and how we got here. This has been simmering for over a year, and the story behind it is great. I've been tracking this since September and devoured all of the details from the origin through today. Dun 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 dun, boom. So back in September 2019, some guy named Deep Beep Value posted on Wall Street Bets.
What is the? I can't. I'll see you later.
Deep Beep Value. This guy has become the, lionized hero of this current movement. Some guy named Deep Beep Value posted this on Wall Street Bets.
Ridiculous.
And it's basically talking about the short position on GameStop stock. It was just a post about his LEAPs, aka long-term equity anticipation securities, TLDR, long-dated calls on GameStop. At the time, nobody understood his position at all. The top comment on the post, bid-ask spread on these are ridiculous. Good luck getting rid of them. Lol. For the next year, every month, about once a month, he posted his YOLO GME position. Every month for a year, he got made fun of. I caught wind of this trade back in September 2020, a full year after this guy was already holding. I also thought it was weird. The dying retailer GameStop? Little hint, and we'll get into the nomenclature. That might be a little easier first. Here we go. CNN helped people out. They gave us a little glossary of terms to help us understand what's going on with their Redditors.
No.
All right. So this was all happening on a Reddit page called Wall Street Bets on Reddit. And the first term is YOLO. And a YOLO position in the Wall Street Bets parlance is when someone risks their entire portfolio on a single stock or options trade. It's a YOLO trade. YOLO! 10,000 shares. That's all my... all these GameStop purchases have been. Of course, then we have stonks. Stonks is in stocks is in shares of a company, but misspelled on purpose, often when commenting on a financial loss.
Oh, this guy is so stupid. like the Babylon Bee couldn't do any more. I don't know.
Tendies. Gains or profits that are made on an investment. This word is borrowed from 4chan culture, where it refers to chicken tenders demanded by an imagined 20-something man living at home with his mother.
It's I don't think I've seen tendies. I've seen it as tenders. I've seen a lot of them as tenders. But
No. It's their tendies, man. It's the money that they can stand to lose. It's just for fun. They're gonna make them tendies.
Okay.
Diamond hands, often displayed as this emoji, diamond praise hands. When a trader is prepared to hold onto their stock or securities for a long time. In contrast with paper hands, often displayed as a hand in a toilet paper roll. When a trader sells their stocks and securities way too early, before they were able to reach maximum profits. And then I don't know, because I didn't hear this next two at all when I was cruising through. J. Powell for Jerome Powell, Fed Reserve Chair. $ Becky as an array of stocks, quote, loved by white college girls like Etsy, Lululemon, Athletica, Ulta, Beauty, and Starbucks. And then, of course, the rocket ship. This rocket ship's going to the moon. And then it's rocket ship emoji.
I can't believe they had to, explain that one.
We're going to take this rocket ship all the way to Alpha Centauri. This rocket ship's going to Mars. We'll keep a seat warm for you on the rocket ship. Lots of rocket ship references because it's talking about, as it used to express unbridled optimism about a stock's future gains. Now that you've all been educated on the nomenclature and verbiage used here, let us continue our digression into this madness. All right. So, a dying retailer, GameStop? So I dug into the public quarterly reports of GameStop. Every quarter, public companies are required to release what's called a 10Q, which is a quarterly report of their financials. You can find them on the SEC's website. It's a public company. You can find tons of financial information about any company.
Yeah.
What did I find? GameStop was actually in a great financial position. And this is when I started getting skeptical of this guy's thread, but we'll continue. They weren't going broke. In fact, they had a lot of cash in hand, enough to pay off their debts. So, why was it trading at like $2 to $4 a share? GameStop actually has hundreds of millions of dollars in outstanding debts. And I don't think that they have hundreds of millions of dollars of cash on hand. But maybe he's saying something that I'm not seeing, because I didn't go through the SEC reports.
Yeah, I don't know.
They haven't. They lost like the value or something. The return, I think, or the profit was like negative $4 a share in the last quarter. So they're not doing hot.
No.
Regardless of what they had cash on hand, et cetera, et cetera. I heard in the context of this that they weren't doing so hot, but then, as you had referenced earlier, there was some news. They got a new hotshot CEO in place, and he was going to make some changes and improve things, and so there was a little bump. Next, I looked at their short interest. Oh, here's a brief explanation on shorting. Shorting, for those who don't know, is when you borrow a stock from someone and sell it on the market, expecting the price to go down. You eventually buy back the stock at a lower price and return the borrowed shares and pocket the difference. And you might get into it later, but you have to pay interest just like a regular loan on the value of the shares that you borrowed. So borrow $100 million in shares, you got to pay the juice. You gotta pay the VIG. I mean, 10%, 20%.
Didn't know that one.
There's like 20. I think that and I don't know where you get this information because I couldn't find it with a Google. There's some people rambling that the interest associated with the shorts on GameStop right now, because the value's been going up so high, as like 20% or something like this.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's risky because you might not be able to cover.
Yeah.
With it going high or whatever. So, the short interest was over 100% of total shares. In fact, it was 140%, which makes no sense. How can you sell more shares than there are shares? Keep in mind, not all shares are actively traded. In fact, over 75% of GameStop is locked up in passive funds and GME board and C-suite. So, really, short interest was like 300 to 500% of float.
Okay.
Float is how many shares are actually actively traded.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Basically, the shorts, which are hedge funds like Melvin Capital and others, were expecting GameStop to go bankrupt, and they never have to return their shares, keeping all the tendies. So far, all this tracks with everything I've seen, except I think that it was 140% of float, so not 300 to 500% of float, but 140% of float, and then whatever percent is of active of total outstanding stock, which isn't traded or whatever. The other thing is, and it's implied in this, in that if there are shares to loan, I don't know how it works in the shorts market. So there's going to be some institution market maker that's got some GameStop stock laying around, and so they have it to loan to you to do your short. I don't know then if they buy it back immediately. I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
Because they could. Why not? Broker's just like, all right, here, borrow it, and then I'll put it in a buy order for how many are you buying? 1,000 shares at current market price. I'll buy those shares right back. So I don't know, because it's not like they're fungible to some degree, and so they can move independently. So to the extent that this whole theory about the value that can be created is true, it ignores the fact that stocks are fungible and they can move freely between people as many times, unless I don't know something about it. So anyway, something to keep in mind. There could be holes in this whole theory about how you're going to make your billions, you Reddit nerds.
Right, and I was thinking when I heard that 140% shorted, I figured it's like, how can this be? But also, I don't know, think about you could buy back, you could have multiple people buying back and selling, and so then that wouldn't seem too absurd. On its face, first reaction is, wow, that's crazy. How can you have shorted more stock than what exists? But if you two people short 70% of the value or whatever, or the outstanding stock, or however they calculated that, that's 140% right there. You just buy the 70%, and then you sell that other 70%. Hopefully, you get in first
to the other guy.
Yeah, and so then it would cover both of those positions. So, yeah,
exactly correct. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Just keep reading.
Yeah, that's if you get them. If you can get them.
So, Deep Value had figured this out long before anyone, even Michael Burry. Yes, the big short guy who bought in after Deep Value. And he bought in with conviction in his trade, ignoring the haters. A year later, people start to take notice on Reddit. The price had started to inch up from $4 to $8 to $12 over September and October. And more people on Wall Street Bets started buying in, and then more people. And then more people. Which, of course, makes the price go up. So the price keeps going up, and more people keep taking notice, and so on. Eventually, the shorts are supposed to cover. But how? They need to purchase more shares than there are in the company. Well, that means purchasing at any price. See, and this is where it falls apart again, because this assumes that it's one person. If only one person had shorted it, I don't know, all of the stock, and only one other person held all of the stock, then you'd be in a pickle, because then you'd have to cover by buying it from that guy, and they can name a price.
Yeah, you corner the market.
Yeah.
You can do what you want. You can name the price.
Yes.
But
that's not the case here. So they start to cover, which means buying hundreds of thousands of shares, which pushes the price up more. And then last Friday, thanks to momentum and growing interest from retail traders, we had what's called a gamma squeeze. So, quick aside to explain this, market makers, the big banks and funds like GS, Citadel, etc., write options. When they do, they have to remain market neutral by law. So there are what's called the Greeks on options. Theta, gamma, etc. Look them up if you're curious. Anyway, gamma is a number between 0 and 1 and changes the call as the price of a stock gets closer to the call price. Let's say you buy a $300 call and the stock is $290. Gamma would be 0.98. Meaning, for every call purchased, which represents 100 shares, market makers buy 98 shares to be neutral. As gamma changes, they buy more, sell more shares. On Friday, the price was over every available call strike, which meant that market makers had to buy millions of shares if the call is in the money. The stock price is greater than the call price. They have to deliver the shares. The gamma squeeze, so you get more buyers in because the market makers got to buy in. I don't know anything about this, but whatever. In theory, if
I don't know. I don't know. I don't quite understand that. As far as I know the options contracts are like contracts, so you have to be able to purchase or sell depending on what your option contract is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the gamma squeeze business is, but I do know that it said Friday, and that would be today, and that would imply that they would have entered the market to buy lots and lots, causing the price to skyrocket, which it did not do. It stayed flat, basically, from after hours trading. Anyway, so now where are we now? Where are we now? Supposedly a number of shorts have covered. That being said, last I checked, the short interest was still about 138%. So either the shorts haven't covered or more people are shorting to replace the shorts that covered. When I was talking to you about this, I'm like, well, it's so pumped up now. This is super way overvalued. It's like GameStop's worth more than, like Apple or whatever.
Yeah.
For sure. That's
so
weird.
You short the sale. You short the shorts.
Yeah, borrow it now. Sell at $350, and then you just wait until this passes over in a week. Good luck, because you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If the contracts are due today or due the 31st or whatever.
I don't know
end of the month.
How that works. I think I read somewhere that you could hold as long as you want. So you wouldn't necessarily need to get rid of your position in your short, because it's not like there's a deadline on it like an options contract necessarily. You just have to keep paying the juice, and the juice becomes too expensive at some point. Yeah, when you short, you pay a borrow fee, which can change from day to day. Right now, that fee for GameStop is between 20 and 80%.
Oh my goodness.
So the longer you're holding a short position, the more it costs you. So you're holding your $1 billion of GameStop share, and you're paying 20% of that day. I don't know. I don't think it makes sense to me, but whatever. Eventually, either it costs too much, or you have to close your position for a loss, or you go bankrupt. Melvin almost went bankrupt. They got $2.75 billion bailout from two other hedge funds. This is where we are now. Where does it go from here? I'm not sure. Melvin Capital did close out the position. The guy went on TV this morning and was talking 100% loss on the deal. They bought, he said, and covered the position in the $90 range. It hasn't been $90 since Wednesday. So they saw the writing on the wall and got out pretty early on the upswing, looks like. Or they found somebody who was willing to cut them a deal on these shares. Either thing wouldn't surprise me. But they still lost a lot of money. But that's the thing. They closed their position. So this is the thing that they were hoping for. And then when they do, they have to buy stock. And then when the stock gets bought, it puts more demand pressure to buy, which drives up the price. But the price didn't go to the moon, my friend. They were saying on the Reddit page that they were going to, Alpha Centauri and that the stock price will be over $5,000 a share. That just didn't happen. I don't think it's going to happen, and I think this is as good as it gets. But these jokers, they can't be stopped, my friend. They're going to put the shoes to them. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one of the best parts, just like the hero of this movement, deep value, you've got newspapers reporting on people that are on anonymous usernames from this Reddit page, including a quote that MarketWatch pulled from a user called Thick Dad's Club.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so good that it's so good because usually you have like the person's real name, but these people are, you know, what they call themselves, gorillas, apes, and stuff.
They're apes and R words.
Yeah, apes and R words. So like,
don't listen to me. I'm R word.
Yeah, they're anonymous too. So like, the only thing you can pull is their usernames, and their usernames are all ridiculous. So it's just, it's classic. There's gonna be textbooks. You know, it's gonna be.
All these idiots like, I can't wait till they make the GameStop movie. They'll have idiots on playing characters on there named Thick Dad's Club. Oh, yeah. Hilarious. But the Godfather himself posted earlier today, deep value himself, posted his position, his YOLO GameStop position for the month end of January. And this is it. He currently owns 50,500 shares of GameStop. He bought 500 at 20 cents and 50,000 at $14. He also cashed out some options, and that's why his account currently has $13.8 million in cash.
Oh my gosh.
His 500 share lot is currently worth $15.9 million. And his 50,000 share lot is worth $16.2, giving this gentleman total YOLO GameStop position of $46 million.
That is absurd.
Of course, he did buy 50,000 shares at $14, and I don't know what that is. But I don't got that kind of spending money laying around myself.
No. That was his YOLO stuff, right? He cashed out his 401k, or
yeah, he went YOLO. I don't know, because it's just you go YOLO with your tendies. You don't spend your rent money. Tendies is the extra stuff you got. It's just that's just tendy money. It's just the money that you used to buy chicken tenders.
Instead of getting the new video game, I'm just gonna go out and spend.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this is, right?
You never know.
It's the tendy money. That's what they say. It's just tendy money. So they weren't worried about losing it. Some people are they're selling their house and buying GameStop stock at $450 a share instead of paying their mortgage.
Bad idea.
Don't do
Not
that.
investment advice.
Don't do that. Back up to 46 mil. Legend. Don't waste your awards on this. Buy GameStop. Yeah, this post by this gentleman has 16,000 comments on it.
Oh my goodness.
The hero of Wall Street bets. It wasn't lost on anybody. Even Ice-T got in on the action. To me, the GameStop play was dope. I didn't make a dime, but the fact they did it, got paid, and didn't break any law, gotta respect that. Hashtag advanced game. like we were talking, at this point, like if I had the deep insights of these Reddit geniuses and had bought in a year ago or whatever at like $20, that'd be cool. Well, I'm not spending my milkshake money, my tendies money.
Yeah,
I'd rather have the tendies
money on.
Just give me the chicken tenders already. But that doesn't stop a lot of people. I don't know. There's some people like, I got one share at $420. Oh, I think I've lost money, guys.
Yeah, probably.
And they're like, well, don't worry about it. You're a hero. We'll keep the seat on the rocket ship warm for you.
Yeah, I saw someone say like, F it, guys. This is I don't care if I lose money on this. This is a souvenir.
That's right. They're holding it forever because screw Wall Street or whatever. They're saying that it's not even about making money at this point. It's just about hurting the short sellers. And I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's a free market at work, and it's great.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it doesn't sound like market forces at work. Markets are supposed to act rationally and efficiently. I think it sounds like bitter folks that are now part of a cool club. And if you can, you're going to spend your tendy money and get yourself some GameStop
the thing
stuff.
It's actually like it functions like another hedge fund. It functions like another big player, people acting together, doing this.
Yeah,
it's just like I don't know, other market movers trying to fake each other out or whatever if they're trying to make a play. Well, and it's just done instead of a couple people with couple million. It's a couple million people with $5.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, except for it seems that most of these people don't know what they're doing.
They don't care to know either.
Correct.
They just know that they're going to buy. They're going to buy it because not the. It's YOLO, but not necessarily in the terms of.
Right. So if you had fellow sophisticants and they were all on the same page, and this is how it's going to play out. So I don't know, because that's just the theory is that at some point within the next week or so, the shorts will have to start closing their positions, and that will cause it to go to the moon. It reminds me of all these doomsday conspiracy theory stuff, where where it's like it's happening Friday. Well, it might not happen today, guys. It might be Monday when Trump announces the massive. When the rocket ship goes to the moon.
Oh, wait, no.
Wait. No, it won't be. It could take weeks. No, I am in my mind.
People comparing these two events, Trump something and.
Some people were. I don't know. I haven't. I don't watch the media anymore because it just makes me angry. But I believe there was some talk that they were trying to say that all these people on the Wall Street Bets Reddit thing were white supremacists or Nazis or something like that. And I don't know. I've been pretty deep in there, and the only people they're calling names are themselves. They're like,
"Oh, that's good.
I like the sock. You apes need to hold it. Diamond hands, no paper hands in here." And then right below it in parentheses, this is obviously not investment advice, as I am an R-word autist.
Oh, jeez. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's been my favorite thing. Just get on the Google there and type in Wall Street Bets Reddit. Anybody who's watching this, and just read. Just keep reading. Yeah. You'll be there for days. It's just full of nonsense and hilarious memes.
It's good. It's
You'll even be able to understand it now that we've given you the language primer as developed by CNN.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Better than most movies right now.
I'm telling you, I've been glued to it. And watching the stock price, there was a run. All right, get this. So the price at the end of the day on Thursday had sunk and spirits were low. It was like the darkest hour. But then in after hours trading, the price started to climb. It started to climb, and then it started getting back up into the 400s, and then it opened and it went at 400, but then it dived back down under 200, then up again, and then it was riding the 300 line, and there was a push at the end, man. It was the markets closed at 4:30 Eastern time, and they're pushing like, we gotta get 320. Hold, and it's just like all these gifs. It's like William Wallace, Mel Gibson and Braveheart.
Gosh.
Hold, hold, and everybody's holding. It's like and then like it ticks over and market's closed and it's at 325, and it's just like the entire Reddit page erupts in cheers. It's like, we did it! Yeah, $320 a share. Woo! And I don't think it did. It didn't do anything. It didn't do anything to get that number. But these idiots, everybody was just like, "Oh my gosh!" and freaking out. And it was like exhilarating to watch, even though
I don't know. It's
rationally it was idiotic.
It's like a sport. It's like you're cheering on your sports team. You know, I don't know. They didn't do anything, and they're just cheering it on.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Oh, they're just beautiful idiots. And that's the best part about this. But, and I think you said this to me, or if I saw it someplace else, but it was a post by somebody on Twitter about this isn't the first or greatest short squeeze of all time. Not even close. This is a story of Piggly Wiggly and the one man taking on Wall Street alone. I'm not going to read this whole one like the last one, because that was probably painful for a number of you folks, especially Furman. I can see it in his eyes. Basically, the story is this.
You're a good narrator, though, so it's fine.
Piggly Wiggly guy disrupted the supermarket or disrupted the store industry and came up with the modern convenience store idea. Pick up your own stuff and I'll check it out for you. Piggly Wiggly took off and it was doing well, and he started franchising and et cetera, et cetera. Some of the franchisees failed. Then some fat cats on Wall Street decided that they were going to make a dime by shorting Piggly Wiggly. And so they started drumming up press and stuff saying, Piggly Wiggly's failing. Look at all these failed franchises. That must mean that the store itself is failing. Oh, they're driving down the stock price so they can make those sweet tendies by shorting the stock, buying it back cheap, and keeping the difference. But the guy... What's his name? Let me see. Clarence Saunders. He said he had enough. And so he begged $10 million from various banks. And then he put together a brokerage team. And they went out to New York. And they started cornering the market on all the shares of Piggly Wiggly they could get their hands on. Over a period of time, they started grabbing more and more of the stock in secret, so no one knew exactly that it was him that was doing it. But when the positions were to close, the stock had gone way up. And the stockbrokers were in a bind because they couldn't cover at the price. So the Wall Street exchanges, they manipulated the market. They gave them more time.
They changed the rules.
They allowed them to extend, just like what happened this week. They suspended trading in the stock. They gave them more time and more leeway to be able to meet their obligations, so they wouldn't have to go to Mr. Saunders to have him set a price that he could get. The whole event failed, and Mr. Saunders was left holding the one thing he didn't want, not more than $10 million in cash and his company's reputation. intact and the fat cats punished for their hubris. But no, he was left with millions of dollars in Piggly Wiggly stock that wasn't worth it, and bankruptcy. Womp womp womp. This is a cautionary tale for all you GameStop idiots out there. I'm not saying that you don't stay on the rocket ship because it's just a fun ride now and you're already in, so whatever. But if you're the Godfather there, I guess he's already got $13 million in cash, so I don't care. It's all tindy money to him too. But if you got your like house mortgage and stuff in there, you might just want to cash that out. I don't think that you're gonna. I don't even think that even if it went up to 1,000, you would make like $600 on your one share, or whatever. Just
yeah. You need volume for that. You need you can't just have one share.
Unless it went to like 10 grand or whatever, and then you might make like $9,400 or whatever. And like, well, that's almost worth it.
And then you roll right because they really squeeze you for the capital gains taxes too.
It's only like 15%
for the short term. For short term, it's not 15, is it?
Maybe that's long term stuff.
That might be long term. Long term, you even get it close to zero. So
yeah,
but it's like it can be pretty pricey. So that $9,000 profit you're looking at when Uncle Sam comes by, you're gonna only get like 5,000 or whatever. So I think it's progressive capital gains as well.
Well, Adam, how else will we be able to support the poor and struggling individual of this nation if not for a federal tax on capital gains that then could be used to provide such benefits as defense contracts and particle accelerators.
Syrian wars.
Well, other things too, like what? Federal government throws some money into the food stamp stuff, right? It's in the ag budget. There you go. Feeding the poor. If they didn't tax capital gains, there's no way that they would have enough funds to feed the poor and food stamps. I'm sure that's it, and not everything else.
Yeah.
Anyway.
How could they afford the Predator drones?
Yeah.
How could they do that?
Who's
gonna drone strike American citizens then?
No one even has that. Like Russia, I guess they'll have to do
it. Gonna lease a drone from Russia.
We'll sell them because we got to make money. So we'll pay exorbitant amount for the defense contract for Boeing to make these drones. And then we'll let Boeing sell the drones on top of that to Russia so they make double money.
Yes.
And then Russia uses the drones to drone strike American citizens in Yemen. Syria, likely, though. That's where their spicy actions are happening. But you may have noticed I am not using Chrome. This is actually the Dissenter web browser by Gab.
Ooh.
And
I did not know that.
Gab has this web browser called Dissenter, and it blocks ads, blocks tracking. It's supposed to do a bunch of stuff, and I don't know about any of that stuff. But it has this cool thing. The Dissenter extension, if you bring it up and you log in, then you can comment on literally any website that you go to. And you can just throw comments down. Pretty cool stuff.
That sounds pretty cool.
They also have social media, which is Twitter-like. And it's got some pretty cool stuff. Like this fabulous meme I discovered.
That was good.
Hey bro, do you even lift? His name on high? Because Gab was, famously started by a ardent Christian CEO. I guess he would get in trouble on Twitter because he would, I don't know, get in fights with people because he's so Christian.
Yeah, he'd get spicy tweets like "Christ is King" and stuff.
Oh, I heard that was anti-Semitic.
That's I don't even know where to begin with that one.
It's veiled anti-Semitism. If you,
I don't know.
that's what some people were trying to say.
So.
But yeah, recommend looking into it. There's some like really fringe stuff because they don't police people like Twitter does, and so you can find some really crazy stuff.
Yeah.
There's the Q people, the QAnon people are really spectacular too. Recommend reading all of their insane conspiracy theory stuff. I haven't been able to get into it for a while, particularly since the inauguration, but there was a thing. It was going to be, this is the plan. This is where it all comes together. There's going to be mass arrests at the inauguration. That's why Trump won't attend. And, it's like one of those, it's like, just like the stock, when the rocket ship doesn't lift off, when the aliens don't land, when the Earth doesn't end, the conspiracy just is left there like, this was all part of the plan to make them think that this was the plan, but it wasn't the plan. He still has this card up his sleeve, friends.
Yeah. I know what's going on now. See, the thing with the previous issue was the weather was bad, or I don't know. It's always something.
I just got a message from Q. He just sent me a message. We had a delay because CNN was present at the inauguration. Or whatever. I don't know. That's a cool conspiracy too to get to read up on, just because all the best ones have a grain of truth that's sprinkled in, and the crux of it is, and then exaggerated to its insanity, is that there are sexual predators in the highest levels of government and Hollywood and in your communities and everywhere. There's sexual predators everywhere. They're just like literally under every rock you stare at. And this is not untrue.
Not. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, even like when you're talking about like congressmen and stuff, Dennis Hassard he got caught for his business very recently, and so it's not like there's nobody. And just statistically, because of the number of people that engage in these deviant behaviors and these crimes, there's got to be a handful of them in Congress, and in the deep state. And in Hollywood, obviously, with all the Me Too stuff, we found out about a bunch of that.
Yeah.
But they say, like, it's literally everyone, and it's a cult, and it's Tom Hanks. And you're just like, I don't know. I don't think any of that's true. You've gone too far. You had me with, we should pursue sexual predators and punish them. Find them and don't let them continue to operate. Out them and protect their victims. But then you say, no, it's everyone, it's literally everyone, and in fact it's a cult and they worship some owl god in some resort or something. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, what the? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. You went too far down.
I did. Don't go too far down.
The stuff that I've always seen is just like that stuff, and I don't know if I saw Tom Hanks or whatnot, but I did see like all those other things you're talking about. But then you lost me at the hotel resort owl or something or other.
Well, we might just have to do a deep dive on Q one of these days.
Please do not. I don't want to.
I will title and tag the video QAnon all over the place.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great.
We get taken right down off of the.
Yeah,
YouTube.
we're gonna get a couple strikes for this video anyway. Mentioning it.
Oh, and I couldn't cut all of the Teddy Roosevelt content. So I had been doing some research on the man this week before I got distracted by the madness. And I did come across this fabulous speech that he gave in France in April of 1910, and part of it is very famous, but the speech was entitled Citizenship in a Republic, and it's got some very cool themes, ideas, and it's talking about a broader philosophy of being a citizen in a republic, your obligations, and the way you should conduct yourself, and I would recommend reading it. Citizenship in a Republic. But there's a famous line from it, and I'll read it now. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. The man in the arena. Dun, 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 dun. He also goes on, he quotes Lincoln in here. Goes on to incite about equality and its intentions at the beginning and how that should be carried out. There should be, so far as possible, be equal of opportunity to render service, but just so long as there is inequality of service, there should and must be inequality of reward. He goes on to say that we shouldn't reward the shirkers and the grifters the same. That picking a man up who's fallen is very noble, but it is a waste of time and energy to pick up a man who is laid down on the ground. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Ruin looks us in the face if we judge a man by his position instead of judging him by his conduct in that position. So much goodness in this. Recommend. And finally, finishing up the evening with another throw to Ice-T himself with our ice cold fact of the night. Today, everybody wants to be king or a queen. I've never had a problem with just being a soldier. A solid soldier. Diamond. I think Ice-T's got those diamond hands himself.
Yeah.
He's holding GameStop strong to the end.
Yeah.
And with that, folks, that's the end of our show tonight. Adam, did you have anything you'd want to add here at the end of the show?
No, the GameStop saga has been great. I don't know. It's a weird. It's like you said. It's entertainment in a sense.
Oh, it is.
Excited to see where it goes.
It's the most fun I've had all year.
It is kind of like a sports game. I don't know. It's weird.
So, all you apes, you better hold strong, because we like the stock. I want to see those diamond hands and those paper hands.
Diamond hands.
Those paper hand losers can just get lost. Parentheses. This is obviously
this is not investment
not investment advice, as I am an R-word autist. All right, folks. Well, that's our show for the night. We hope you had a good evening, and we will see you next time on Trigger.